Welcome to the latest remote edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across the Mornington Peninsula. I'm Catie Sharp, and our top items for this edition are: Mornington Peninsula Shire and Tybe Airfield go head-to-head. High hedges will no longer make the cut. Deborah Maher gets AGL's side of the gas pipeline debate. And there's only a week left to enrol to vote. Now for the full stories. We go first to Shivani Pillay for a COVID-19 update.
As at the 19th of August, there were 7,155 cases in Victoria. Mornington Peninsula surged to 70 active cases and Frankston to 94. However, on Friday, the 20th of August, there was a drop on the Mornington Peninsula to 60 and in Frankston, a drop to 77 active cases. In relation to the outbreak at Frankston Hospital, as at the 20th of August, at least 51 people were infected with coronavirus and 211 staff were isolating. Of the 51 staff cases, 40 were nursing staff and 4 are doctors. Peninsula Health currently has 48 COVID-19 positive patients in their care, with none of these patients in ICU. Peninsula Health has 7 sites across the Mornington Peninsula, including Frankston and Rosebud hospitals. The majority of the infections appear to be at Frankston Hospital. In relation to exercise, updated restrictions were announced by Chief Medical Officer Brett Sutton on 19th of August, that you can now drive within 5 kilometres of your home to exercise. The DHHS website states, you can drive to a location such as a park or running track within 5 kilometres of your home to exercise. You can exercise with one other person. This can be a person you live with or a friend or family member. Victorians who have been previously fined for this breach may be able to request a review with Victoria Police and apply for the charge to be waived. Testing has declined, raising concerns. Testing sites set up throughout Melbourne at a cost of $50,000 a week are seeing as few as 20 people a day, raising concerns of wasting taxpayers' money. Drones are to be deployed to help catch lockdown dodgers. According to the leader, drones will hit the skies over Port Phillip and Stonington trouble spots to help catch people breaching lockdown restrictions. And in positive COVID news, Mornington Secondary College is celebrating its lockdown legends. Year 8 staff have created a mural to celebrate students who have excelled in the remote learning environment and who have been a positive influence on others. That's the COVID-19 update. I'm Shivani Pillay. Back to you, Catie.
Thank you, Shivani. Mornington Peninsula Shire and the Tybe Airfield faced off in VCAT last week to define the future of the aerodrome. The Shire is questioning the airfield's capacity to meet planning objectives, whereas the airfield says it has historic rights that have been threatened by a burgeoning community that has been allowed to encroach on its precincts. Local residents have expressed concerns about noise levels, flight times, and intensity of use. Next steps are a conference in October, followed by a 5-day hearing next April. For an in-depth report on the story, go to the RPPFM website. Frankston councillors have ordered a report to assess the feasibility of extending COVID-19 relief initiatives for ratepayers experiencing financial hardship. Measures include rate waivers, freezing council rates, and suspending debt recovery legal costs. The report is due in February next year. Thousands of would-be foreshore campers are hoping for better COVID news by December after the Shire postponed the opening of this year's camping season. Stage 4 restrictions mean the season will not start until the 19th of December at the earliest. A final decision on exactly when camping might be able to take place will be taken later in the year. Mornington Peninsula Shire is considering laws to limit the height of hedges and fences that block iconic view lines. The Shire has stated it will not interfere with hedges that provide windbreaks for crops or shelter for animals. Rather, they have asked officers to develop new regulations that ensure hedges and fences do not interfere with views unless absolutely necessary. Coming up after the break, we reveal a statement released by AGL in response to our news story regarding the Crib Point gas import jetty and the APA pipeline project.
More and more people with a taste for quality are shopping at Eliza Meats. Kevin and his lean team pride themselves on the finest cuts, from juicy steaks and roasts to high-grade mince and sausages. And Eliza Meats are the gourmet specialists. Inquire about Eliza Meats Spit Hire. Phone 9787 4473 for a mouth-watering meal fit for a king. It's all at Eliza Meats. See our sponsor Kevin at Eliza Meats, 112B Mount Eliza Way, a station sponsor.
Everyone knows Australia has 4 big banks, but the 5th biggest retail bank is snapping at their heels. It's a bank that's been around for over 160 years, has over 500 branches Australia-wide, looks after over 1.6 million customers, is regularly voted one of the most trusted brands out of all the thousands of brands in Australia, and voted the most trusted bank in 2018. Who is this fantastic number 5? Yep, it's Bendigo Bank, the better big bank.
Welcome back. RPPV's reporter Deborah Marr featured a news story recently detailing the AGL gas import jetty and APA pipeline project at Crib Point. Following that interview with action group Save Western Port, Deborah reached out to AGL, inviting them to an interview to put forward their side of the story, which they agreed to at the time. Unfortunately, this week AGL cancelled the interview and instead issued a statement. We now cross to Deborah for more details.
Thank you, Katie. AGL Media provided a statement for the Crib Point gas import jetty in response to my request for an interview, which they defaulted on. AGL's response is as follows. Since proposing this project, we have engaged extensively with both the community and local and state government to ensure we understand their concerns around potential community and environmental impacts. We understand and acknowledge the community's concerns that continuing an EES process during the period of social isolation presents challenges. We are committed to following the process that the state government deems appropriate and will work with government and the community to facilitate access to information and ongoing engagement. The project is expected to employ between 450 and 500 workers at the peak of construction, and once operating, about 40 permanent positions will be created. The proposed project has made a commitment to a community fund of $7.5 million to be managed by a panel of community-based representatives if it proceeds. The fund will be established to share some of the benefits of the project with the local communities and councils from Crib Point, Hastings, and the regions through to Pakenham. This is the background. AGL is proposing to develop a project that would supply imported natural gas into southeastern Australian states for industrial, commercial, and residential gas customers, meeting a projected domestic gas supply shortfall. Liquefied natural gas imports offers a flexible option of short and long-term energy supply to provide a secure, stable source of supply to customers as the energy sector becomes decarbonised and transitions to more renewables. The project is part of AGL's commitment to deliver gas supply certainty to southeastern Australian markets safely within agreed timeframes at a competitive price, while balancing economic, social and environmental factors. The abundant gas supplies Victoria has enjoyed since the 1960s are in decline, particularly from Gippsland Basin fields in Bass Strait. This means that Victoria needs to find alternative sources of gas supply. While Australia is a major exporter of natural gas, most is produced in locations which are some distance from demand centres and not available to customers in southeastern states. That was AGL's statement. In a recent media release from the Mornington Peninsula Shire, the Council officers unanimously opposed the project, advising it poses an unacceptable risk to the environment. Shire's Mayor Sam Hearn believes the 11,000-page Environment Effects Statement, referred to as the EES, is a weak analysis and gives no confidence that the environment impacts of this project can be acceptably managed by AGL. Mayor Hearn further added, this is a fundamentally deficient EES which prevents the council and the community from undertaking a robust net community benefit assessment of the project. I attended a number of community information sessions held online by the Shire, Environment Victoria and Save Western Port Action Group. These are some of the issues that were raised. An unacceptable increase in the number of trucks and vehicles per year will have long-term consequences to the safety of local roads. The 57-kilometre high-pressured underground pipeline will take gas from Crib Point to Pakenham and distribute to southeastern Australian states. The pipeline requires a 30-metre wide corridor clearance above the ground. The lifespan of the pipeline is 60 years. Employee numbers mentioned in AGL's statement does not suggest that locals will benefit. The project requires highly specialised workers, therefore employment will most likely be sourced elsewhere. Gas prices will not be cheaper. Gas prices are influenced by world market prices. The Shire's goal is to have zero emissions on the peninsula by 2040. The AGL project will hinder this goal if it goes ahead. The Ramsar wetlands in Crib Point area is a crucial part of the fragile ecosystem that supports migrating birds from Alaska, Siberia, China and Japan. Native wildlife and flora will also be affected. This floating import gas jetty known as an FSRU will be permanently moored between Woolies Beach and French Island. It is over 290 metres long, 49 metres wide and stands approximately 17 metres high. Lifespan of the FSRU is 20 years. Liquefied natural gas will be transported to the FSRU by other ships entering Western Port. The process of changing LNG to gaseous state requires 250 million litres of seawater from Western Port per day. This water will be chlorinated, is 7 degrees colder and will be dumped back into Western Port. The FSRU will operate 24 hours a day with continued noise pollution and heavy nightlight pollution. Locals are concerned that AGL's track record of non-compliance on some of their construction sites is deemed to be unsafe to communities. The estimated cost of the FSRU project is estimated to be $230 million. In closing, Federal MP for Flinders, Minister Greg Hunt opposes the AGL Crib Point gas jetty and pipeline project. State MP for Hastings, Neil Burgess, opposes the AGL jetty and pipeline project. Mornington Peninsula Shire Council opposes the AGL jetty pipeline and project, and the wider community most certainly oppose the AGL jetty and pipeline project. I also want to note that the Shire does not have any decision-making powers. The decision rests with the Victorian State Minister for Planning, Mr. Richard Wynne, and the federal government. Crib Point Advisory Committee will meet from October the 12th for a 6 to 8 week deliberation. Visit the website on your screen now or contact the Morn Pen Shire. Closing date of the submission is this Wednesday, the 26th of August at 11:59 p.m. I'm Deborah Marr. Back to you, Katie.
Thank you, Deborah. Satellite tagging research is keeping tabs on some of the hundreds of thousands of spider crabs off Mornington Peninsula beaches after their early winter molting event. The spawning and breeding cycle of the crabs caused a furore at Rye Beach this year, with locals horrified at the bag loads of crabs that were being taken in defiance of fisheries bag limits and at a time of social isolating. A plan to expand Bayside Shopping Centre has been postponed. A request was put forward to add an 8-storey building to the centre, but parking plans were revealed to be short by over 300 spaces. The council has called on vicinity centres who own Bayside to come up with a solution. However, the State Planning Minister has suggested he may make a decision on the addition without council approval. Remember, you have only a week left to enrol to vote in the upcoming October local elections. If you've only recently turned 18 or moved into our beautiful area, you can enrol online at vec.vic.gov.au/enrolment. The electoral roll closes at 4 p.m. on the 28th of August. And the Rye Foreshore redevelopment project continues with the opening of the new extensions to the Rye Pier. RPPV's cameras were there to capture these exclusive images. Now we go to Alana with the coming week's weather report.
I did try to record my weather outside for you this morning, but it started hailing on me, so I thought I might as well stay inside and just learn how to play chess. Today is Saturday the 22nd of August. It's looking like we'll have a pretty miserable and wet and rainy day. You can expect up to 20 millimetres of rain and just a top of 12 degrees. We're likely to have hail and thunderstorm throughout the day as well, so make sure you stay indoors, but we will be anyway. Tomorrow, Sunday the 23rd of August, it's looking like we'll have pretty similar conditions. You can expect up to 10 millimetres of rain and a top of 12 degrees, most likely a thunderstorm in the afternoon as well. On Monday, we'll have a top of 11 degrees. Rain will be easing, but we still have an 80% chance of showers, most likely in the morning, and up to 4 millimetres of rain before we have a cloudy afternoon. On Tuesday, there is a medium chance of rain, most likely in the late morning and early afternoon, and just a top of 12 degrees. We will drop down to just a low of 5 degrees overnight into Wednesday, where you can expect a slight chance of showers, most likely in the morning, and a top of 13 degrees. On Thursday, though, it's looking like we'll have a pretty, dry day. We will have a top of 15 degrees and only a slight chance of a shower in the afternoon. Into Friday next week, we'll have a top of 14 degrees. You can expect gusty northwesterly winds in the afternoon as well, so make sure you be aware of those. So it's looking like we'll have a wet and rainy weekend, so I'll be staying inside and hopefully mastering chess. And I hope you're all staying safe and staying home.
Thank you, Alana. A shout out to our surf reporter Muzz, who was no doubt missing the waves during lockdown. And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Remember, if you go outside for one of the 4 essential reasons, wear a mask. If you're feeling at all unwell, get tested and stay at home until your results are back. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.